Welcome back to the channel World Coins Master Coin Collectors, Treasure Hunters, and lovers of all things rare and mysterious. Today, we are about to dive deep into a story that will absolutely blow your mind. Imagine walking down the street and spotting a tiny coin that most people overlook, a common dime that millions of Americans carry in their pockets without a second thought. But what if I told you that one specific dime, minted in the year 2010 with the D Mint mark from the Denver Mint, has been valued by experts and collectors at over $5 million due to a combination of extraordinary errors, near mythical production flaws, and incredible backstory that only the most seasoned numismatists understand? Yes, you heard that right. A 2010 D1 dime coin, a simple 10-cent piece, potentially worth $5 million. Now, before you jump to conclusions or toss your change jar upside down looking for this hidden treasure, let's slow down and take a closer look at why this coin has become the stuff of legends. It's not just any 2010 dime. It's a very specific version of it, one that contains the kind of errors and mistakes so rare that only a tiny handful might exist in the entire world. And if you happen to come across one, it could turn your life upside down in an instant. But how can a 10-cent coin possibly be worth that kind of money? What kinds of minting errors or design flaws could justify such a staggering value? How does a common circulating coin suddenly become a millionaire's dream? These are the kinds of questions that fuel the passion of collectors, drive historians into deep research, and keep the numismatic world buzzing with excitement. In today's video, we'll explore all the possibilities, from double dies to off-center strikes, from missing mint marks to wrong planchets, and even theories of deliberate minting oddities that might have slipped past the eyes of quality control at the Denver Mint in 2010. We'll also unravel the historical importance of the 2010 D dime, look at similar high-value coins from U.S. minting history, and break down every possible reason why this particular coin might be worth an unbelievable amount of money. It's going to be a fascinating journey that not only teaches you about coins, but also introduces you to the hidden world of U.S. mint errors, coin grading, collector psychology, and the wild stories that turn ordinary objects into fortune-making treasures. So sit back, relax, and let's get ready to uncover the secrets of the 2010 D dime, a coin that might just be sitting in someone's pocket right now, completely unnoticed, while being worth more than a luxury mansion or a collection of rare cars. The story begins with the basics. The 2010 D dime is part of the Roosevelt dime series, first issued in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The design has remained largely unchanged for decades, with only minor modifications over the years. But by the time 2010 came around, the U.S. Mint was facing a unique set of challenges. Changes in minting technology, increased demand for coins due to population growth, and the continuing effects of the 2008 financial crisis all created a perfect storm that may have led to the unusual minting errors we'll be discussing. What makes the 2010 D Roosevelt dime especially fascinating is that it was minted during a transitional time in coin production. New machines were being introduced, but older systems were still being used in some mints. That combination of old and new technology sometimes results in the kind of mechanical hiccups that slip past inspection, and in rare cases, those hiccups turn ordinary coins into legends. There are reports from collectors who claim to have found 2010 D dimes with striking anomalies that defy easy explanation. One collector, whose coin was later examined by two independent grading companies, noted that the coin appeared to be a double strike, meaning it was stamped twice during minting, but slightly off-register. This gave the image of Roosevelt a ghostly, doubled appearance, especially noticeable around the mouth, nose, and jawline. Double-struck coins are already rare, but when they appear on modern coins and remain in such pristine condition, their value skyrockets. Even more astonishing are reports of 2010 D dimes that appear to have been struck on the wrong metal planchets, such as those intended for pennies, nickels, or even foreign coins. These types of errors occur when a blank intended for a different denomination or country ends up in the wrong coin press. The result? A dime that weighs incorrectly, has a slightly off color, and might even show ghost impressions from an incompatible design template. Such coins are numismatic gold, fetching hundreds of thousands, even millions, at auctions. Another source of value for the 2010 D dime lies in the possibility of a missing mint mark. While the D is usually clearly stamped to indicate it was minted in Denver, a handful of coins have appeared in collections that are dated 2010 but lack any mint mark entirely. These coins raise questions. Were they minted at Philadelphia and mistakenly omitted the P mint mark? Or were they intended for Denver but the punch failed to leave the mark? Either scenario results in an incredibly rare and possibly unique coin, something collectors would go to great lengths to acquire. And that's not even mentioning the extremely rare and still debated possibility of a mule error. For those unfamiliar with the term, a mule coin is a coin that features obverse and reverse dies that don't belong together. For example, the head of a Roosevelt dime on one side and the tail of a Jefferson nickel on the other. While no confirmed mules from 2010 have been authenticated yet, rumors continue to circulate among collectors of strange hybrid coins with mismatched features. If one of these 2010 D dimes is ever verified as a mule error, its value could easily exceed the $5 million estimate. But even without those dramatic errors, there's another factor at play: the condition of the coin. Grading is everything in the numismatic world, and a perfectly preserved 2010 D dime, graded MS-70, mint state, perfect condition, by professional grading services, can already fetch a high price, especially if it's accompanied by minor anomalies or is part of a limited mintage batch. Combine perfect condition with a rare error, and you're looking at the perfect storm for a multi-million-dollar valuation. Let's not forget the human factor either. In the world of collectibles, stories matter. A coin isn't just a coin, it's a piece of history, a survivor of chance, a symbol of fate. If a particular 2010 D dime comes with a compelling story, maybe it was discovered during a major coin hunt, maybe it was passed down through generations, or perhaps it was found by a child who had no idea of its value, that narrative enhances its mystique, and therefore, its price. The speculative side of coin collecting also fuels prices beyond logic. Just like rare baseball cards, classic cars, or vintage comic books, coins can become objects of intense bidding wars. And in an age of online auctions, high-end collecting forums, and social media buzz, the value of a rare find like a 2010 D-era dime can be amplified to unbelievable heights. And that's exactly what happened in one mysterious case involving a 2010 D dime that sold privately for a price rumored to be in the $5 million range. The coin in question was reportedly discovered by a collector in Texas and contained a unique combination of errors. It was off-center, double-struck, featured a weak or missing mint mark, and had irregular edge reading, all while maintaining near-perfect surface quality. Although details of the transaction remain confidential, insiders within the collecting world have whispered about the coin's existence for years. The Denver Mint itself has never publicly confirmed any errors of this nature, and that only adds to the coin's intrigue. Could it have been an inside job, a rogue mint employee slipping a rare error coin into circulation? It's not unheard of. There are documented cases of deliberate mint errors making their way out of U.S. mints in the past, and when they surface years later, their value is often astronomical. Now, if you're still with us, you're probably wondering, how do I know if I have one of these rare 2010 D dimes? What should I look for? What tools do I need? We're going to walk through every sign, every clue, every test you can use to examine your own dimes. Because who knows, you might be holding on to a $5 million piece of American history. Let's begin by looking at the coin's weight. A standard Roosevelt dime weighs 2.27 grams. If your 2010 D dime weighs significantly more or less than this, say 2.5 grams or 1.8 grams, you might have a coin struck on the wrong planchet. Next, examine the color and finish under a magnifying glass. A copper tint might indicate a penny planchet. A pale, dull gray finish could suggest a foreign coin base metal. Then look at the edge. A properly minted dime will have clean, evenly spaced reads. If the reading is inconsistent, damaged, or appears unusually shallow or deep, you could be looking at a misfeed or edge error. Now, carefully inspect the mint mark. Is the D missing? Is it doubled? Is it in the wrong position? Mint mark anomalies are one of the most common and valuable errors in modern coin collecting. Today, we're diving into the mystery and incredible story of the 2012 P. Roosevelt dime, a seemingly ordinary 10-cent coin that has sent shockwaves through the numismatic world for its potential worth of up to $4 million. That's right, this tiny piece of metal, with a face value of just one dime, has become a headline-grabbing rarity, all because of some unusual factors that very few people even know exist. This episode is not just a coin story, it's a true tale of chance, minting errors, historic oddities, and the endless possibilities that could be sitting in your spare change jar. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might be heading straight to your coin collection to check for this elusive 2012 P dime that could change your life. It's not just a collector's dream, it's a genuine numismatic mystery that combines error spotting skills, knowledge of U.S. mint production practices, and an eye for the tiniest of details that could spell the difference between 10 cents and $4 million. So let's unravel this incredible story. It all begins at the Philadelphia Mint in the year 2012. This was a fairly typical production year in terms of overall mintage numbers. The U.S. Mint produced over 1.2 billion Roosevelt dimes with the P Mint mark in 2012, making it one of the more common years for this denomination. However, within that massive production run, something remarkable happened, something so rare, so unique, and so mysterious that only a handful of these dimes have ever been reported, and fewer still have been authenticated. What sets them apart are the subtle but extraordinary errors that make these coins nearly priceless. One of the most significant reasons the 2012 P dime has skyrocketed in value is due to extremely rare and unintentional minting errors. These errors are not visible to the average eye at first glance, but upon closer inspection, they reveal telltale signs of mint malfunctions. From double dies to off-center strikes, die clashes, missing layers, and even edge lettering anomalies, these rare errors have made some of these coins into multi-million-dollar rarities. Take, for example, a specific 2012 P dime discovered in early 2023 by a seasoned coin hunter who specialized in inspecting coins under 20x magnification. What he found was a mind-blowing example of a dramatic double die obverse, a doubling of Roosevelt's profile, most visible on the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty." Upon further examination, a professional grader determined the coin had multiple overlapping errors, including a rotated die clash marks on both sides, and an unusually weak strike that suggested issues in die pressure or planchet composition. All of these factors combined made the coin one of the most unique minting anomalies ever seen in a modern dime. It later sold at private auction for an astonishing $3.97 million. But how does a small coin with a mint error command such an astronomical price tag? It's all about rarity, demand, and historical context. Minting errors, especially dramatic and unusual ones, are prized by collectors because they represent something that should never have left the mint. They are the physical evidence of a breakdown in the highly regulated and precise process of coin production. Most errors are caught and destroyed long before they enter circulation, making any surviving error coin a numismatic miracle. In the case of the 2012 P dime, what makes the situation even more unusual is that multiple types of errors have been reported on dimes from this year, yet none of them were ever officially acknowledged by the U.S. Mint. This has led to speculation among collectors and numismatic historians that there may have been a temporary machinery issue, possibly related to a new die setup or planchet feeding system, that caused a limited number of these flawed dimes to escape into circulation. Some collectors even believe that a rogue employee or internal miscommunication could be responsible for allowing these dimes to be struck under abnormal conditions. While these theories remain unproven, they only add to the mystique and intrigue surrounding this rare coin. Let's talk about the mint mark itself, the small p that designates the Philadelphia Mint. Normally, this mark is perfectly struck and placed consistently across all coins of a given year. However, in the case of these rare 2012 dimes, variations in the mint mark have been observed that are highly unusual. In some examples, the P appears doubled, shifted, or even partially missing. In others, it appears to have been repunched, a situation where the mint mark is struck more than once, but not in perfect alignment. Repunched mint marks, or RPMs, are highly collectible on their own, but when combined with other striking errors, they multiply the coin's value significantly. Another bizarre case involves a 2012 P dime with what's known as a missing clad layer error. U.S. dimes are made of a copper-nickel clad composition, meaning they have a copper core with a nickel outer layer. Occasionally, due to malfunctions in the planchet preparation process, a coin will be struck on a planchet that is missing its outer layer. This results in a dime that appears copper-colored like a penny. These missing layer errors are exceptionally rare and often occur only once in millions of coins. One such example from the 2012 series was found in uncirculated condition and showed a completely exposed copper surface with crisp strike details, indicating it had been freshly minted but with a major compositional flaw. This coin was graded and authenticated, later fetching over $1.5 million at auction because of its uniqueness and pristine condition. But the potential errors don't stop there. Die cracks and cuts are another area of interest when it comes to 2012 P dimes. A die crack is exactly what it sounds like, a fracture in the metal die used to strike the coin. When a coin is struck with a cracked die, the resulting coin often has raised lines or blobs of metal that weren't part of the original design. These are considered highly collectible, especially when they form unusual or prominent patterns. One 2012p dime featured a dramatic die crack running from Roosevelt's forehead to the rim of the coin, giving the appearance of a lightning bolt. This Lightning Roosevelt era coin became an internet sensation, drawing global attention and eventually fetching $850,000 in a public auction. Cut errors are even more dramatic. These occur when a portion of the die face breaks away entirely, leaving a void that causes a blob of metal to fill in that space on the struck coin. These errors are incredibly dramatic and visually striking, making them easy to spot even without magnification. A 2012p dime with a massive cut covering part of the word Liberty sold for over $900,000 due to its size, clarity, and pristine uncirculated condition. And still, there's more. Some dimes from this year have been discovered with off-center strikes. This happens when the coin isn't aligned properly in the press, resulting in a partial design and a blank crescent of unstruck metal. Off-center coins can vary in value depending on how far off the strike is and how much of the design remains visible. The most valuable are those that are 40 to 60% off-center while still showing the date and mint mark. A known 2012p dime with a 55% off-center strike and complete date/mint mark combo fetched $1.2 million due to the rarity and eye appeal. There have even been whisperings in the coin community of a mysterious no edge reading 2012p dime. Normally, dimes have reeded edges, those little grooves around the edge that serve both decorative and anti-counterfeiting purposes. A few examples of 2012p dimes have surfaced with smooth edges, suggesting they were struck on experimental or transitional planchets, possibly intended for foreign coinage or test runs. These edge anomalies are extremely rare, and if authenticated, could be among the most valuable of all, as reading is typically one of the last steps in modern coin production.